Hi, I want to talk to you this week about a woman who recently did one of my courses, and during the course she started to do some work that was really exciting to her, and it was quite different from work that she'd done before, and that was kind of where she left the course. Afterwards, a couple of weeks after the course, I caught up with her on a coaching session, and she showed me her work, and it was completely different from where she had left off at the end of the course. And I said to her, why is your work so, what happened? Why have you gone off in this direction? And the work that she was doing now was definitely not as good, or not as strong as the work that she had been doing before. Anyway, she said, oh, well, I showed it to my husband and my family, and they didn't really like it, and I started to think that maybe it wasn't all that good, and so I went back to what I was doing before. And this is a real common problem, and it's something that we all fall into, because we're working away in our studios, we're sort of on our own, and you need the sort of validation or some input or some reaction, or you just need some feedback or some comment, some support really, and while you're painting. And so you often go to whoever's closest, and the person who's closest is usually a family member or a friend, and you ask them because A, they're of proximity, they're close to you, and B, it's comfortable. You're not putting yourself in an uncomfortable situation to go and ask someone who loves you, you're comfortable with, they know you well, they're kind, they're not going to be damning, you're not fearful of their response or anything like that. So it's a very easy and comfortable conversation to have. What do you think of this? But often we're actually not asking the right person. The thing that we should be asking is, what do they know about art? Are they in a position to give you valuable feedback? I mean, when you're sick, you go to a doctor. You don't go to a mechanic or a farmer, or you go to the person who knows, who can help you. So why we do this is, we all do it. I do it. Recently I was painting this painting, and I was excited about parts of it, so I went to my partner and I said, come and have a look at my painting. He came out and I said, I'm quite excited about this. And he looked and said, no, I think, this one over here is better. And he was very, not sharing the enthusiasm. I mean, he doesn't get excited by mark making or draw. The things that I get excited by, he doesn't get excited by. When he looks at a painting, he looks for a finished product. And the other thing that he thinks about as well, constantly, is whether he thinks the painting will sell. And how he knows this, I don't know. How he thinks he knows it, I don't know. But anyway, those are the benchmarks that he's holding up when he looks at a painting. How is it looking like a finished painting? Is it looking finished? No, not so good. And will it sell? So he's really not the right person to ask. Frankly, some of his comments are absolutely hilarious. And when he says them, I just think to myself, oh my God, I've done it again. I've asked the wrong person. And anyway, usually I just laugh. I tell him to get on, I get on with his life. He can go now. And I get on with my painting. But in the early days, when I first started painting, I would often change the course of a painting purely because of a comment that he had made. He usually compares it to a previous one, and I would change the whole, the painting probably wasn't actually that bad, but he'd say something a bit negative, and that would change my course completely. So when you're first starting out, you're sort of very vulnerable to what other people think, because you're always looking for some sort of affirmation. And social media can be a blessing, and it can also be misleading. I mean, it's a blessing in that you can throw up a picture, an image of your work, and you can get likes, and that's the affirmation that you're looking for. Oh, so someone likes that painting. But you can also throw up a picture, an image, and it might not get as many likes as you might be excited by it, and it might not get as many likes as a previous one. And you think, oh, perhaps it's not such a good painting. This is where it's completely misleading, because the number of likes that your post is getting is the result of the reach that it's, how many people have seen it. And that is purely determined by the algorithm. So it's got nothing to do with your painting. It's all to do with the mechanics of social media. So we have to be careful with social media, and we have to be careful with comments that come from our loved ones and our family and friends, with all best intentions. Sometimes they actually just aren't the right people to be asking, because they don't know about art perhaps as much as we do, even if in our early stages we're still in that sort of struggling stage. So what should we do? If you're still searching for you in your painting, and you're still a little bit unsure whether your work is good or whether you're going in the right direction, you have to start exercising faith in your intuition and in how you feel when you're doing your artwork. And you do this in small steps. You do it by just starting to notice how you feel when you're working, what excites you, and why does it excite you. And you have to also exercise the knowledge, and just stand firm in the knowledge that you are the captain of your art ship. And as you keep going and you're noticing more about what you like, and you're hanging on to those things, and you're noticing what you don't like, and you're not doing the things that you don't like anymore, you get stronger and stronger in building a repertoire and a language of the type of work that you like, and that's how your style develops. But you have to be completely focused and sort of tunnel vision. You have to steer that boat strong and resolute, and don't be knocked by other people's reactions. You have to stand your ground and know that you know how you feel better than anybody else who can come along and look at your art, and that you know about the process of making art and the process of making your art better than anybody else who can come along and look at your art and make some sort of judgment. The other thing that you can do is you can ask the right person. And this is where being part of an art group is really helpful, because in an art group you've got a whole bunch of people who are exercising that same muscle, basically. They're all looking to make art that they love, and some of them are further along the journey and some of them aren't. And just by being in that company can be it's just beneficial all round. You can ask people who A, know what it's like to produce art, and B, might know how to help you in your work. So to ask the right people is a really good thing to do. The other thing is you should ask the right question. And so often I see in my group people throw up an image of their painting and say, I'd love some feedback, or what do you think of this, or any feedback welcome. And I know that they're wanting, that's genuinely what they want. They want to know, what do you think? But they're not going to get helpful answers. They're going to get answers like, love it, oh, lovely, things like that. Rather than getting helpful comments that can that can help you move along your journey and decide whether you're on the right track with your painting. You can be asking questions like, is this composition balanced? Have I got the colours, are these colours harmonised? Or How does this painting make you feel? Or what does this painting remind you of? Being more specific with your questions will give you a more helpful answer, because the answers will be around a specific aspect of the painting which can help you take that information and move forward. So remember, let's not just race off and ask hubby what he thinks about art. As much as it's the easiest option, it's sometimes not the most informative. Make sure that you surround yourself, or that you ask people who do know about art and do know about the art process, and just be more specific with your questions, and then you'll get more helpful answers back. So I hope that's been helpful for you today, and I hope you're steering your art ship strong and being resolute in the knowledge that you know you are the best person to know about how you feel about your art. And if you feel good about your art, then that's the right direction that you should be going in. Don't be steered off path by other ships. And I hope you have a lovely, happy painting week.